Folks, welcome into the Crossing Swords post-game report. The Buffalo Sabres were able to hold on for a 3-2 victory. It was not pretty at the end there, but they got it done. I am your host here, Ty B, joined by Kanzi and Ben yet again. Ben, it was tough there. We wanted them to keep that foot on the pedal, but that was not the case, and we saw them almost throw that game right back to the Devils.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to see him, just keep flooring it, right? But they got the 2 points, they got the win. Let's start there, and button up stuff at the end of games. I mean, if the more practice you have with leads at the end of the game, the better you would think you'd get at that. So let's just keep going forward here on that regard, I would say. But overall, much better performance collectively than we have seen.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think that's the big thing, Kanzi. We saw a lot of energy today. We saw them playing a little bit more tenacity. Obviously, it stinks that, Jake McCabe went to go in for that hit. The guy gets out of the way at the last second. Looks like he's going to have a knee injury here. We don't know how serious, but it did not look very good. But we saw, in general, the team much more active throughout the whole game.
Yeah, boys. I mean, I get to say something I haven't said in like 3 weeks. The Sabres won a hockey game. Let's think about that for a second. They haven't won in almost 3 weeks. That's incredible. You can't be any more excited. But, I mean, Sam Reinhart today, he's a savage, classy, bougie ratchet, man. Just on the ice, flying up and down, netting 2 today, looking great alongside Eichel. I mean, it looked like the two of them were just on the same page, and we've been looking for that. And, I'm not ready to crown these guys, but definitely in a better state of mind than I was. I'm sure Dwayne is. We would have liked to have had a 3-0 victory, but we'll take it with where this team is. And, I think, it's tough to see McCabe go down there, but it's good to see guys like Will Borgen, come up strong there and look well, because now you have a flexible player that you can move up and down the lineup with your defensive pairing. So where they go from here, it's on them now. Maybe this is what they needed. Who knows? But not ready to jump the gun yet, but just happy they got their first win in 3 weeks.
No, I think you got to kind of take everything in stride here a bit, because it's not, obviously, number one, it's not a normal season. And number two, it wasn't a normal situation that led to that 3-game losing streak. So as much as you want to be pissed off, you couldn't take it fully out on the players, because so much of that was out of their control. They weren't on the ice for most of that time. And even when they were, we saw, they couldn't even get full lines out there together. So much different here today. And Benny, yeah, I think the key might be keeping Sam together with Jack. And it looks like Cousins and Stahl with Hall looks absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, I would just keep it for the next game. I think we've seen enough over this playoff drought of constant, nonstop, please just stop shuffling the lines. I know a lot of the times we're stuck in that unfortunate spot where you're looking for a spark, you're looking for some good juice, but I mean, we need consistency, right? I think the players need that too. Again, especially like I talked about, they're still learning to play together. That's, even if if none of those games got canceled, you're still really getting up to speed with this roster. And, it's, again, they're professional athletes, it's their job. Yeah. But you still, if you have on a team like this that struggled for so long, if you have guys that have played together for a while and it works, just leave it. Just let them do it.
Which Benny, that makes sense, because what has Ralph Kruger been preaching his coaching career? He doesn't like change, which doesn't make sense. And I understand he's trying to find the right chemistry, but keep it the same. Let it roll out for a month or two. Let's see what happens.
I think they will, given that, I just think everyone was kind of scrambling where it's like we had this layoff, our schedule's even more crammed. Sure. We can't do anything. We look like, Ty B, Kanzi, and Benny playing street hockey. It just it just doesn't look good. So they were kind of scrambling there, and you get away from your identity and what you're really thinking. So I understand it, but now that we see all right, this team can put it together for most of 60 minutes. Mm-hmm. That's real steps forward. So let's build on it. Let's change what we need to change, but the things that worked, just leave them.
Yeah, it was about 40 minutes and 20 seconds today. 40 seconds seconds. I think it came in 40 seconds. But I don't know. We'll see. You know, let's get some consistency here. We were kind of getting to that point, I think, before they had that COVID layoff. We saw them, you know, building that continuity, I think, on some of those lines where they were really clicking, like especially that Cousins and Stahl connection. And now we see with Cousins getting back out there, they're picking up where they left off. In those 3 games, we were slowly getting players back, and a lot of those guys hadn't, you know, been on the ice for 2 consecutive weeks. They got 1 day of skating where they had some testing, and then they were right back with the team for the most part. And you saw, you know, some of them held out an extra day to get, you know, their legs back, get their lungs back, because it can, you know, each guy, it's going to affect differently. But it's good to see a lot of them bouncing back really well now, Kanzi.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, when you think about it, with how, you know, it's a 56 game season, so you know, this is the time where teams start to take that next step in the direction where the cohesion, the cohesiveness of the team chemistry starts to build. Well, the Sabres missed two weeks of that. So, you know, I keep that in the back of my mind every time I think about this team. I'm not saying they don't have their issues. We've seen it, but, you know, it takes a while for systems to get implemented. So, you know, I think the term when people say they need to get their legs, we've been saying that for like 9-10 years. They got to get their legs. They got to get their bearings. Well, they got their bearings back finally today. And hopefully they can continue that momentum, because you got to steal these points from New Jersey. That's a big thing. You get 2 points, you get 4 points, you get 6 points. Say you play them 3 games in a row. Well, now you're back in the conversation of this division, because we know this is not an easy division.
Boston, yeah, I believe Islanders on Monday.
Like Washington looks great. You know, the Islanders, I mean, they can go on a tear too. So, you know, the Sabres need to get points where they can. And you know what? At the end of the day, if this team's a 500 hockey team at the end of the year, I wouldn't be content, but I'd feel a little bit better than I did the last 2 weeks about this team.
Yeah, I mean, they did get a very tough draw in this division. You look at it top to bottom, it's coming into the season, you're probably arguing that this is the toughest division in all of hockey coming into the season. And, you know, we've seen these teams kind of beating up on each other. Top to bottom, you see the Devils getting some big wins there over the Bruins. The Capitals have been doing very well, but they've had some knocks as well. And
sure.
Having to play
Rangers playing the Bruins really close.
Yeah, exactly. I think we saw, was it an
1-0?
Yeah, 1-0.
I think it was last week.
Like a tight can't make a mistake hockey game.
Very much like a playoff game.
Exactly.
Really early in the season, so totally agree with that type.
Yeah, Caps ended up losing today. Yeah, Rangers did win. That's what I thought. Shout out to our intern Colin on that for us. But we do have Dwayne O'Mania in the building. Dwayne, Sabres first win in like 3 weeks. You're lagging a little bit. I hope your sound comes through well. But how are you feeling after that win?
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
yep.
We can hear you fine.
Awesome. All right. That's all that matters, right? Feel great. You know, wish I could have watched it. Obviously, I caught some highlights and paid close attention to Sabres Twitter. Seems like my prediction or, you know, insinuation before the game about Dylan Cousins, you know, rang true. You know, he definitely, you know, installed some energy into that lineup today, and it paid off. It paid dividends. I saw a lot about Dylan Cousins in that lineup. I saw a lot of highlights, a lot of scoring chances. He was in on a lot of plays. He was getting the loose pucks. So, you know, it's good to see that kid back in the lineup, you know, to give us that spark.
He's doing the things we've been talking about the past, you know, week or so, of getting that puck for those guys, especially Eric Stahl, where he's looked lost. It seemed like Cousins was that perfect answer for him.
Yep. And another thing, too, is, you know, the past 3 games, they've done a lot of puck watching. I don't know if anybody's noticed that. They watch a lot of pucks and instead of attacking and being aggressive. And that's really been one of the biggest downfalls of, outside of just the lack of energy and passion, is just the insane amount of puck watching this team has done over the last 3 games. So with that being said, you know, from everything I saw, you know, and everything that was tweeted, and, you know, from the group chat with you guys, it seems that like that was not the case today.
No, first 40 minutes were great. Third period, they sort of shelled up again, Dwayne, parking the bus a little bit. But when you give up a goal 40 seconds in, you kind of got to do something. But this is a good point Western New York Sports brings up here. Happy about the win, but they're worried about where the offense is being manufactured, goals from the point and on the outside, the lack of offensive creation in the slot. Yeah, that's been a problem over the past week or so since they've come back, where teams are kind of giving him those shots, but they did figure out today how to get those shots through, and there are actually guys in front of the net, to make it tough. Number one, for the goalie to see where it was, and then to have those deflections. Sam's, one of the best in the league at doing that. So thankfully they got back to that today. If you're able to do that, then teams can't just keep sitting back like that, and it should be able to open things up. We saw them very early in the season getting a ton of chances in close to the net and getting to the slot, and teams sort of figured out how to shut the door on them. But can you play through that? Can you figure it out? It seems like they might be able to do that, Ben.
I certainly think they showed signs that they can. Just going to remain optimistic, right, that they will. But you got to keep after it, right? You can't just, take the victory like, okay, let's try and just play like we did against New Jersey, right? You can't get stuck in that mindset. You got to, you have to do what you did right again, obviously, but you got to keep progressing. And like we were talking about at the intermission, right? We want to see him floor it in the third period still, which they did not. So that's the key thing right there. Put together some good periods of hockey. You got to complete the cycle. You got to do 60 minutes because, 40 minutes and what do we say, 20 seconds? That's just not going to get it done in the NHL. It's not going to get it done at a lot of levels of hockey, especially where we think we are long overdue for being a playoff team for this organization. And that's where we need to be. So got to still focus on the 60 minutes, but it's good to see him put together a great 40 minutes of hockey, small steps, but I'm optimistic. I feel a lot better than I did pregame.
Mm-hmm. All right. So one last question here before we wrap it up and hop off here for each of you guys. Just where's your optimism level? Because I think all of us throughout the week, it was probably around, 50-50. Like if we can get some wins, like there's a chance we can get into it. And it's slowly fallen off. Where are you right now, Kanzi, that they can salvage this season, at least give us a playoff battle?
Well, I don't know, man. I mean, it's kind of hard to say right now. One game isn't going to make the decision for me. I need a little more consistency. We keep talking about it, and that's the big thing with this team is, we've seen the analytics, we've seen the stats, we've seen the expected goals, we've seen the, everything. Now it's time to put it together and actually show us that the statistics and the analytics matter. Because at the end of the day, they're just numbers. But I do like what I see from Cousins. I like that pairing. I like the zone entry from Taylor Hall today. I like the way Eichel skated today. I think there's a lot to be excited for. But I'm just, like I said, I'm just not ready to crown them yet. I just hope moving forward, they're great. Also, where I'm at right now, just so you guys know, my dad's 60th birthday party. Hey, Dad, just wave to the camera real quick. That's here. Wouldn't be here without him today. So it's his 60th birthday. He says I'm a little too obsessed with hockey, but who cares, right? I mean, it was a
Shout out Papa Kanzi, happy birthday!
Shout out Papa Khan's 60th birthday, and the Sabres get a win. I mean, couldn't ask for a better day, guys.
Good stuff.
No. So Ben, where are you at? I know I talked to you a little bit this morning about it. Where are you now?
I mean, I'm a little better than what I was. I was probably sitting 45%, when we talked this morning, right? Back up to 50-50, where it's just like it was one game, two really good periods, liked what I saw, but I'm not even going up to 51% unless I can see game to game consistency. Right now, it's like, the period to period's like great. You can apply that to youth hockey, right? That's exciting for that sort of thing. But at this level, you got to do it game to game. So that's what I'm looking for. We string together a few more of these, and Kanzi alluded to it, how quickly you can jump back up in the standings, especially having a couple games in hand. I believe we still do on some teams. So catching up from the pause. So let's see where we're at, maybe after this coming week. Big game Monday against the Islanders. So got to rebound against them.
Absolutely. Dwayne, do you have any optimism here they can string together some wins and get into a playoff race?
I mean, I said it in the pregame show. Every single game is a 4-point game. Every single game is a division game. So for every 2 points you're taking 2 points away from somebody possibly in front of you in the standings. So that's huge. That's the difference between any like a regular normal 82 game season and what we're going through here now. So you can really go, honest to God, you can go, and not to mention a team like the Islanders, who I believe is ahead of us in the standings. Back-to-back games against them, take 4 points. You take away 4 points from them, you're right back in the thick of things. So, yeah, absolutely you can. It's just, as Benny mentioned, you got to be consistent. You have to, take the positives that work for you here. I saw a comment earlier, a lot of, we are getting shots through from the point, and, the goal production is coming from, that first line or on the power play. So, but even with that, you have to learn to create those high danger area scoring chances more often than not, and get more consistency up and down your 4 lines. And hopefully we can get. I mean, you saw some flashes of Darlene today. Hopefully he continues that, and we see some more solid production from him.
Yep, absolutely. I think that's a big key going forward here, and hopefully that's what we'll be getting. So thank you, everyone who tuned in to the Crossing Swords post-game report. I'm your host, Ty B. We are joined by Konzi, Dwayne, and Benny. Make sure you guys stay tuned to @Cross Swords Pod for more, and @2goalies1mike. I know Dwayne's always got content coming out, a bunch of guests lined up for some stuff, a lot of fun stuff coming over the next few weeks. And they got a ton of stuff going on with Ben and Justition, especially with those skate skins, those Jordan skates all over the place, anywhere on
Those
hockey
are dope,
Twitter.
Those
Yeah,
are dope.
I think as soon as we can get Coda working on a whole bunch more of them, I think that he's going to have a few orders from us. But Benny, anything else big you guys are working on here?
Sorry, go ahead, guys.
Always working. Maddie's been crushing it with the skins. Lots of those coming in. So we're excited about that. See where that goes. Coda, as always, nothing but fire from him. That's a deadly partnership, bringing the flash and the flair to the game of hockey, and especially in the skate department, right? So, yeah, always more to come from us on that front. Justition Apparel as well. We're always got stuff in the pipeline, so keep your eyes peeled at Justition on all the socials. You know where to go, as Type mentioned, justition.com. Promo code Trainwreck.
Yep.
You got it.
Exactly.
Got a lot of great ideas.
Great
ideas.
I didn't mean to interrupt you there, Benny, before you went, but I just wanted to say the stuff that you guys sent to Ty B was absolute freaking fire. Like, to the point where I was jealous. I was going to go over to Ty B's house and steal it from him.
Oh, my shorts?
Dude, incredible. Like, it's not like you guys it's like a product that makes it's just amazing. So you guys do great stuff, and I can't wait to get my hands on a few of those things. So,
and my beanie, literally, I literally pretty much just dripped out in JDH. I'm one of the very few people in the entire world that can go head to toe JDH, socks, flip flops, shorts, sweatpants, hoodies, shirts, long sleeves, sunglasses, hats, beanies. They got it all. Make sure you get over there, and make sure you guys stay following everything at Cross Swords Pod, at Trainwreck Spurts. We'll be back on Monday night for a big tilt against Dewey Crocs in the Isles. Hopefully we'll be eating their gabagool. Let's go, Buffalo.